Now, here's the question. The Internet was created under circumstances that required rules of non-discrimination. It was, for the first portion of its birth and then origin, it was an Internet that was described as a telephone service, and it was subject to rules that had non-discrimination, so no one could discriminate. It was completely open, completely free. Its architecture was available to anyone at any time. Anybody can go anywhere at any time. Nobody has a toll booth. Nobody's a gatekeeper. It is completely open and free. The biggest company over here and the smallest little enterprise over here, big old corporate executives wearing gray suits and wireless glasses and with making lots of money, and two people in a dorm room or someone in a small kitchen in a small town, they're equal. Anybody has access to both sites or all sites. That's called non-discrimination, and the non-discrimination rules say no one can set up a barrier, no one can set up a gate, no one can set up a toll booth. Anyone has freedom and access anywhere on the Internet. That's the way the Internet was developed. That's its origin, and that's the way most of its life has existed. And then the Federal Communications Commission came along and said, we're going to redefine the Internet as an information service rather than a telephone service. And the result is the non-discrimination rules fell off the chart because they attached to the telephone service. So some of us have said, well, we certainly want to maintain and continue non-discrimination rules. I mean, who would be for discrimination, right? So we want to maintain the non-discrimination rules. We want to, with what is called network neutrality or net neutrality, restore the non-discrimination rules and the basic freedom under which the Internet developed in the first instance. And that has been our effort. And that is what the chairman of the Federal Communications Commission is attempting to do. It is to begin tomorrow with a notice of proposed rulemaking. Doesn't mean he's saying, here's exactly what we're going to do. It says, let's propose a rulemaking. And that rulemaking process will allow everybody to weigh in, to make comments, to be involved in the question of exactly what kind of a rule they may or may not write. I think what the Federal Communications Commission is doing tomorrow is exactly the right thing. I know there are some who are pushing back. In fact, there are some who have said, we want to set up a toll booth. I mean, there are some CEOs of some large companies who have suggested, you know what, those wires belong to us. We want to be able to have some toll booths and so on. Well, I don't believe they should be able to set up any impediments. By that, I'm not suggesting they don't have a right to have security for their networks. They certainly do. I'm not suggesting they don't have a right to do certain kinds of inspections to make sure that the kinds of things that are prohibited, child pornography and others, are stopped on the Internet. But what I am saying is the architecture under which the Internet itself was created is an architecture all of us should aspire to continue, and that is non-discrimination rules and transparency.